President Donald Trump announced that the UFC is coming to the White House in 2026. Wow. President Donald Trump announced that the White House will host a UFC event in 2026 in honor of Americans' 250th birthday. Trump said this yesterday at the Ohio State Fairgrounds and mentioned Dana White and the UFC. Check out the video.
Dana White. We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little. We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events.
You think the UFC is going to go to the White House next year? I saw on Twitter tons of fighters are raising their hands. They say, I want to knock somebody out at the White House in Washington, D.C. Wow, that's great publicity for the brand, the organization, TKO Group, Dana White, the UFC. Whew. What do you think, Shane?
I think it's going to happen.
I do too. If Trump says it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen. The UFC, they're going to build a cage somewhere on the lawn and have an event. He said 10 to 15,000 people in attendance. Unbelievable. What this is going to do for the UFC brand is incredible. The stockholders for TKO Group are just happy today. Happy today. All right, let's move right along. Tom Aspinall. Wait, excuse me. UFC heavyweight undisputed champion Tom Aspinall had this to say yesterday. I had meetings I have done, and I now have a fight. We've got a date. We've got an opponent to work towards. This is Tom Aspinall said he had meetings with the UFC, and he's got a date. He's got an event he's working towards. He's got an opponent to train for. Who do you think the opponent's going to be? Cyril Gane, Alexander Volkov, Jayton Almeida, someone else? Who do you think's going to be his opponent, Shay? Cyril Gane, probably?
Yeah.
I think Cyril Gane's the guy, but if Gane beats him, that looks bad. So there's a good possibility it might be someone else. Drop a comment. Tell me who you think it's going to be. Oh, big shout out to Santos Studios, repping them for this show and probably every other show coming up. Santos Studios, check them out. SantosStudios.com. They have MMA gear. They have hats. They have, you name it. They have bags for women. They have jewelry. They have all sorts of nice stuff. They even have shoes. They have shoes. We'll be showing some of their merch more on the show. I got some stuff coming in the mail here soon. We got some. We got a gift from them yesterday. Let's see. What do you think of Santos Studios, Shay? You like their clothes?
I like their clothes. They're really, really good quality.
Very
merch.
good quality.
Yes. I like the one that has color in it.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good on you, baby.
Yeah, we got some nice stuff coming for you next week. Let's move right along. Former UFC welterweight champion Leon Edwards had this to say. I want to fight Ian Garry. That's the fight I mentioned to the UFC. I think that would be a great fight to get back in there. You want to see Leon Edwards versus Ian Garry? I do. Let's talk about some Jack Della Maddalena news. He had this to say about Islam Makhachev. We saw what Volk did to him. I'm going to get him. He's too little. JDM is saying Makhachev is little. Wow, sounds familiar, right? Wasn't Makhachev saying that about Volk? Yeah. What comes around goes around. He's too little. That's funny. All right, let's see what else we got here. Paddy Pimblett had this to say to Ilia Tapira. He's got the same tattoos. He's just a carbon copy of McGregor. In his prime, McGregor would have knocked him out with a straight left. Paddy Pimblett is doing everything he can to get that fight against Ilia Tapira for the UFC lightweight title. I think they should book it. Why not? Arman Serukian is defending claims that he could not make weight. Here's what he had to say. Why does nobody try to interview the doctor and ask what happened with Arman? I have a problem with my sciatic nerve, so my back was stuck. Because of this, when I started cutting weight, my lower back became weak. Arman Serukian says, no. He didn't miss weight. He had a back injury. So lay off him. That's what Arman's saying. We're gonna close this out with Dustin Poirier news. Dustin Poirier is fighting Max Holloway for the third time at UFC 318 in New Orleans. Here's what he had to say. Dustin Poirier says that he had 2 broken ribs going into his title fight versus Islam Makhachev, but still put up a hell of a fight. He also gave some advice for upcoming kids that may want to do MMA. Here's his advice. Go to college. Don't do it. And that's it for today. Thank you, She, for being on the show. It's Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We're off the whole weekend. Take care, fight fans.